20 things only those who grew up in the 1980s remember. The 1980s. Neon lights, cassette tapes, and unforgettable toys. If you grew up in this vibrant decade, you'll remember the thrill of arcade games, boomboxes, and trading stickers. Ready to relive the magic? Scratch and sniff stickers. Scratch and sniff stickers were one of the most exciting things to collect in the 80s. These stickers turned something as simple as a notebook into a sensory adventure. Whether they smelled like juicy fruit, pizza, or even popcorn, each sticker added a fun, surprising twist. But it wasn't just about sticking them on your books. Trading them with friends was a huge deal. The more unique the scent, the better your collection became. It was all about getting the coolest, most interesting stickers to show off and share with your friends. Cassette tapes and mixtapes. Before streaming and playlists, cassette tapes were the heartbeat of music for a lot of us. They weren't just a way to listen to songs. They were a way to express ourselves. Whether you were hitting record on the tape deck to catch your favorite song off the radio or putting together that perfect mixtape for a friend, those little plastic tapes had a special place in our hearts. They were personal, a soundtrack to our lives, and a way to share memories through music. Slap bracelets. Slap bracelets were one of the most fun and addictive accessories of the 80s. Made from flexible metal and covered in colorful fabric, these bracelets would straighten out and then instantly curl around your wrist with just a quick slap. The snap sound and the way they wrapped around your arm made them even more exciting. They came in endless patterns, from bright colors to funky designs, and became so popular that many schools ended up banning them. Kids couldn't get enough of the slap bracelet craze, and it became a symbol of 80s style and playful rebellion. Fanny packs. Fanny packs were the go-to accessory of the 80s, combining practicality with style. These small zippered bags were worn around the waist, making them a hands-free solution for carrying everything from keys to snacks. But beyond function, fanny packs became a bold fashion statement. With their bright neon colors and eye-catching designs, they were a must-have for anyone wanting to rock that retro vibe. Whether you were at the mall or a concert, the fanny pack was there to hold your essentials while making sure you looked cool doing it. Walkman. Walkman changed the game for music lovers. It was a portable, sleek little device that let you take your tunes anywhere. Pop in your cassette, throw on those foam-covered headphones, and suddenly, you had your own personal soundtrack. It wasn't just a gadget, it was a symbol of freedom, a way to carry your music with you all the time. And let's be real, it was a status symbol too. If you had a Walkman, you were cool. It was the 80s equivalent of owning the latest tech. Arcade games. Before home consoles became the norm, the arcade was the place to be. Picture this: neon lights flashing, the sound of coins clinking into machines, and the buzz of excitement as friends gathered around to chase high scores. It wasn't just about playing games. It was about the experience, the energy, and the competition. Arcades were where you went to hang out, challenge your buddies, and show off your skills. It was a social hub, and every new game felt like an adventure waiting to happen. Blockbuster video rentals. Going to Blockbuster was more than just picking out a movie. It was an event. The whole family would pile into the car, head to the store, and spend what felt like hours wandering the aisles, debating over which film to pick. The anticipation built as you searched for the perfect movie, and you couldn't leave without grabbing some popcorn to complete the experience. And let's not forget those "Be Kind Rewind" stickers. Every time you saw one, it was a reminder to rewind the tape before returning it. It was all part of the charm of movie night in the 80s. Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube was more than just a puzzle. It was the ultimate challenge of the 80s. With its vibrant colors and twisting complexity, it became a worldwide craze. Some people became experts, solving it in seconds, while others spent hours, or even days, trying to crack the code. It wasn't just a game, it was a trend. Whether it sat on your desk, was tossed in your backpack, or you carried it around just to show you were part of the cool crowd, owning a Rubik's Cube was like being part of a global club. Trapper Keepers. The Trapper Keeper was more than just a binder. It was a statement. With its bold, vibrant designs and that satisfying Velcro closure, it instantly became the must-have item for any student. Carrying a Trapper Keeper wasn't just about keeping your papers organized. It was about showing off your style. Picking out the perfect one was almost like a back-to-school ritual. Whether it was covered in neon colors, wild patterns, or your favorite cartoon characters, having the right Trapper Keeper made you the envy of your classmates. Which iconic 1980s item did almost every kid have? Cabbage Patch Kids, Walkman, Rubik's Cube, Trapper Keeper. Leave your answer in the comments below. The correct answer will be revealed at the 30th minute of this video. Atari 2600. Before the Nintendo Entertainment System took over, the Atari 2600 was the video game console that brought gaming into living rooms. Games like Pong, Frogger, and Space Invaders became instant classics. And even though the graphics were simple by today's standards, they felt like magic to 80s kids. The Atari was where it all began, the start of countless gaming memories. It was a world of excitement and challenge, right in your own home. And for many, it sparked a love for video games that would last a lifetime. Neon clothes. The 80s were all about boldness, and neon clothes were a big part of that. Bright pinks, greens, oranges, and yellows seemed to glow from every corner of the fashion world. Whether you were rocking neon workout gear, a casual outfit, or even a flashy accessory, it was impossible to miss. Neon wasn't just a color choice, it was a statement. It was loud, it was fun, and it was the very definition of 80s style. If you didn't have something neon in your wardrobe, you weren't fully embracing the vibe of the decade. Boomboxes. The boombox wasn't just a way to play music, it was a full-on cultural icon. These huge portable radios could blast your favorite tunes wherever you went, turning every street corner or park into your personal concert. Sure, they were heavy, and carrying one around wasn't the easiest task, but that didn't matter. The sound, the vibe, the presence, it was all worth it. The boombox was the ultimate way to show off your style and share your music with the world, making every moment feel a little more alive. Jelly shoes. Jelly shoes were the go-to footwear for 80s kids, and they were hard to miss. Made of plastic and available in a rainbow of colors, these shoes had a translucent, almost sparkly look that made them a fashion statement. Sure, they weren't the most comfortable. Your feet would get sweaty, and they didn't exactly offer the best support. But that didn't matter. Style was the priority, and jelly shoes were the perfect mix of fun and fashion forward. They were colorful, quirky, and totally iconic for the era. Leg warmers. Leg warmers became one of the standout trends of the 80s, thanks to the aerobics craze. Originally meant for workouts, they quickly made the leap into everyday fashion. If you were following Jane Fonda's workout videos, you knew leg warmers were a must-have accessory. Brightly colored and stretchy, they added a fun, sporty vibe to any outfit, whether you were hitting the gym or just hanging out with friends. They were a perfect mix of practical and stylish, and they became synonymous with the energetic, feel-good spirit of the 80s. Cabbage Patch Kids. The Cabbage Patch Kids craze took over the 80s in a way that was hard to ignore. These dolls weren't just toys. They had their own personality. Each one came with a unique name and an official adoption certificate, making them feel special and personal. They were the must-have item of the decade, and parents didn't just buy them, they fought for them. With crowds of shoppers pushing and shoving in stores, getting your hands on a Cabbage Patch Kid was a real accomplishment. It was the ultimate holiday toy, and the excitement around it was unmatched. Lisa Frank school supplies. Lisa Frank school supplies were like a burst of color and magic in the classroom. With rainbows, unicorns, dolphins, and all sorts of whimsical creatures, her vibrant, glittery designs made even the dullest school day feel special. Whether it was a folder, a notebook, or a pencil case, if you had something with Lisa Frank's signature artwork, you were basically a trendsetter. Every kid who owned Lisa Frank gear felt like they were carrying a little bit of magic with them to school, making even the most ordinary school supplies feel like a personal treasure. What's your favorite 80s toy that you still remember fondly? Share your memories with us. Garbage Pail Kids. Garbage Pail Kids trading cards were the perfect mix of gross-out humor and clever wit. They were basically the opposite of the sweet, adorable Cabbage Patch Kids. These cards featured characters with names like Atom Bomb and Leaky Lindsay, each one more ridiculous and hilarious than the last. With their over-the-top, grotesque designs and pun-filled names, they quickly became a must-have collectible for kids. Collecting them wasn't just about getting the full set. It was about having the most bizarre, laugh-out-loud cards to show off to your friends. It was humor with a twist, and it was totally addictive. Polaroid cameras. In the 80s, Polaroid cameras were pure magic. Instead of waiting for photos to be developed, you got instant results. Whether it was family moments or goofy selfies, these cameras turned every snapshot into a keepsake. And let's not forget the best part, shaking the picture as it developed. It became a ritual, adding to the excitement of watching the image appear right before your eyes. Polaroids weren't just photos, they were an experience, making memories feel even more special in that instant. Waterbeds. In the 80s, owning a waterbed was the ultimate symbol of luxury and cool. These wavy mattresses were seen as futuristic and a little extravagant, like something out of a sci-fi movie. Sure, they were tricky to move, and you always had to worry about leaks, but that didn't matter. Having a waterbed meant you were living large, and it felt like the height of comfort and style. It was more than just a bed. It was a statement piece, a slice of 80s opulence. Friendship pins. Friendship pins were tiny but meaningful symbols of connection in the 80s. These little colorful pins were like mini pieces of art that kids proudly decorated their shoelaces, backpacks, and jackets with. They weren't just accessories. They were a way to show loyalty and friendship. Trading them with friends became a fun tradition, each pin representing a bond or memory. Whether they were quirky designs or simple symbols, friendship pins helped you wear your heart on your sleeve, quite literally. Viewmaster. The Viewmaster was like a little window to another world. You'd slide a reel into the viewer, look through the lenses, and click the lever to cycle through a series of 3D images. Whether it was exotic places, cartoons, or even educational adventures, it turned every experience into a mini escape. It was simple, yet magical. Nothing fancy, but it had a way of sparking your imagination and making you feel like you were right there in the scene. It was a favorite childhood toy that transported you to places far beyond your living room. Caboodles. Every 80s girl knew that a caboodle was a must-have. These pastel-colored plastic organizers were the perfect blend of style and function, holding everything from makeup to hair accessories. With multiple compartments and trays, they helped keep things neat while adding a pop of color to any room. Caboodles weren't just about organizing. They were an essential part of your personal space, a reflection of your style, and a way to keep all your essentials in one place. They were the ultimate way to stay organized, all while looking chic. Glowworms. Glowworms were the ultimate bedtime buddy for 80s kids. These soft, cuddly toys had a special feature, a face that would light up, offering a gentle glow to help chase away any nighttime fears. Whether you cuddled up with it for comfort or used it as a nightlight to guide you through the dark, the glowworm became a trusted companion. It was like having a little friend by your side, making bedtime feel a bit cozier and less scary. Kids loved them, and they became a beloved part of many childhoods. E.T. craze. When E.T. the Extraterrestrial hit theaters, the world went completely E.T. crazy. The lovable alien wasn't just a movie character, he became a pop culture phenomenon. Everywhere you looked, there were E.T. plush toys, lunch boxes, and even Reese's Pieces. The alien's favorite snack kids couldn't get enough, reenacting the iconic bike flying scene and endlessly quoting E.T. Phone Home. The movie sparked a wave of E.T. mania, making him a household name and turning every bit of merchandise into a must-have. The film's magic didn't just stay in the theaters, it became a part of everyday life. Mall culture. In the 80s, the mall was more than just a place to shop. It was the ultimate social hangout. Neon lights lit up storefronts, and the air buzzed with excitement from the sound of arcade games in the corners. Teenagers would meet up with friends, cruise the food court, or window shop for the latest trends. Malls became the heart of social life, a spot where you could catch up with friends, check out the newest styles, or just hang out. It wasn't just about buying things. It was where the culture of the 80s truly came alive. What's one thing from the 80s you wish would make a comeback? Let's hear your thoughts. The MTV boom. When MTV hit the airwaves in 1981, it didn't just launch a TV network, it sparked a cultural revolution. Suddenly, music wasn't just about the songs, it was about the videos too. Artists had to think about their look and style as much as their sound. With its iconic "I Want My MTV" slogan and that unforgettable logo, the channel became the soundtrack and the style guide of the 80s. It shaped fashion, influenced trends, and made music videos an essential part of pop culture. If you were a fan of 80s music, MTV was your window into the stars. Hair crimpers? Straight hair? Not a chance in the 80s. If you wanted to stand out, your hair needed to have some serious texture. Enter the hair crimper. This tool was a game changer, transforming smooth strands into fun, zigzagged waves. It was a style that screamed boldness and creativity. Of course, no 80s hair look was complete without teased bangs piled high and a heavy dose of hairspray to keep it all in place. Crimped hair became the go-to look for anyone wanting to rock that bigger, bolder style the 80s were known for. Paper fortune tellers. Paper fortune tellers, also called cootie catchers, brought simple fun to every recess. Folded from paper, they offered playful predictions about the future. Kids decorated them with colorful designs and filled them with fortunes, ranging from silly to mysterious. Whether it was about who you'd marry or your secret talent, these creations turned an ordinary sheet of paper into a magical game of chance. The Oregon Trail. In the 80s, the Oregon Trail turned computer class into an unforgettable adventure. This iconic educational game gave kids a glimpse into the struggles of pioneer life, blending history with gameplay. From hunting buffalo to fording treacherous rivers, every decision could make or break your journey. Players faced challenges like dysentery, wagon mishaps, and running out of supplies, making survival a real test of strategy. For many, it wasn't just a game. It was an introduction to teamwork, problem solving, and the thrill of making it to Oregon. Choose Your Own Adventure books. Choose Your Own Adventure books brought a whole new level of excitement to reading in the 80s. These interactive stories handed the reins to the reader, allowing you to make decisions that shaped the outcome. Would you explore the hidden cave or turn back to safety? Each choice led to a new twist, keeping readers on the edge of their seats. The thrill of navigating alternate paths and discovering unexpected endings made these books impossible to put down. For kids of the era, they turned reading into a personal adventure every time. Koosh Balls. Koosh Balls were the ultimate 80s toy that combined simplicity with endless fun. Made of soft, rubbery strands that radiated from a squishy core, they were great for tossing, catching, or just fidgeting in your hands. The unique texture gave them a satisfying feel, and their bright, eye-catching colors made them stand out in any toy box. Whether you were playing a casual game of catch or mindlessly fiddling with one during class, Koosh Balls were a must-have for kids everywhere. Their charm lay in their versatility, making them a timeless favorite for a generation. Hacky Sack. Hacky sacks were the ultimate test of coordination and teamwork on 80s playgrounds. These small, bean-filled balls became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring kids to see how long they could keep it in the air using only their feet. Whether you played solo or joined a circle with friends, the challenge was all about skill, precision, and a bit of flair. It wasn't just a game. It was a way to show off tricks, bond with others, and pass the time during recess. Simple yet addictive, the hacky sack became a symbol of fun and creativity for an entire generation. Troll dolls. Troll dolls were everywhere in the 80s, with their wild, colorful hair and big, expressive eyes. These tiny, quirky figurines quickly became a must-have for kids, sparking a wave of collecting. Whether you believe they brought good luck or just loved their odd charm, troll dolls were a fun and funky part of childhood. Their spiky hair and cute, mischievous faces made them stand out from other toys. From keychains to stuffed animals, no matter where you looked, troll dolls were there, spreading a little bit of whimsy and joy throughout the decade. Chia Pets. Chia Pets took the 80s by storm with their catchy jingle, Ch-ch-ch-chia. These quirky clay figurines grew green hair when watered, creating a fun and oddly satisfying experience. Whether you had a classic Chia Pet, a lamb, or even a design inspired by E.T., the magic was in watching the sprouts come to life. Kids and adults alike loved the novelty of growing something with their own hands. Chia Pets were more than just a fad. They were a playful, low-maintenance way to bring a little greenery and personality into your home. Pogo Balls. Pogo balls were the ultimate test of balance and coordination in the 80s. The toy featured a plastic platform with a rubber ball in the middle. To use it, you'd stand on the platform and try to bounce while keeping your balance. No easy feat. At first, it was tricky to master, but once you got the hang of it, you felt like you could conquer anything. Whether showing off your skills at recess or just having fun at home, Pogo balls gave kids the thrill of bouncing around while building their balance and confidence. Sweet Valley High books. The Sweet Valley High book series captured the essence of teen drama in the 80s and early 90s. It followed the lives of identical twin sisters, Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield, as they navigated the ups and downs of high school, friendships, and romance. Jessica was the popular, outgoing twin, while Elizabeth was the more thoughtful and responsible one, making for constant drama and intrigue. The books were packed with love triangles, rivalry, and life lessons, making them an essential part of many young readers' lives. They were the ultimate escape into a world of high school drama and glamour. sliding across floors in socks. Thanks to Risky Business and Tom Cruise's iconic scene, every kid in the 80s had to try sliding across the floor in socks. It was the ultimate way to mimic movie coolness. You'd take off your shoes, gather all the courage you had, and then glide across the floor like you were in a music video. It didn't matter if you were on hardwood, tile, or carpet. The goal was to feel just like Tom Cruise, effortlessly cool and ready for anything. It became a rite of passage for many, with a mix of laughter and maybe a few slips along the way. Bonne Bell Lip Smackers. Bonne Bell Lip Smackers were an essential part of 80s childhood. These flavored lip balms weren't just for moisturizing, they became a cool accessory and a social must-have. Kids traded them like trading cards, with flavors ranging from classic strawberry to the beloved Dr. Pepper. The packaging was colorful and fun, and each flavor had its own following. Whether you wore it for the flavor or to show off your collection, Bonne Bell Lip Smackers connected kids across schoolyards, making them a fun, sweet way to express style and start conversations. Reebok Pumps. Reebok pumps were the ultimate status symbol in the 80s. These sneakers didn't just look cool, they gave you the power to customize the fit. With the press of a button on the tongue, you could inflate the shoe's inner chambers, giving your foot a snug, personalized fit. It was a futuristic concept that felt like you were walking on air. While they came with a hefty price tag, owning a pair of Reebok pumps was totally worth it. The design was sleek, the tech was groundbreaking, and rocking those shoes was like declaring, "I've made it." Whether for basketball or just to show off on the streets, they became the ultimate flex. Candy cigarettes. Candy cigarettes were a controversial yet hugely popular treat in the 80s. These sweet, powdery sticks of candy were designed to look like real cigarettes, and for kids, they were a way to imitate the adults they saw smoking in movies or on the streets. While they didn't contain any tobacco, the act of smoking candy cigarettes was seen as a fun, rebellious game. The packaging even mimicked cigarette brands, making them feel like the real deal. Though they're considered inappropriate by today's standards, back then, they were a playground staple and part of the era's carefree, often quirky approach to childhood. Sit and Spin. The Sit and Spin was one of those toys that combined simplicity with pure fun. To use it, all you had to do was sit on the colorful plastic base, grab the handles, and start spinning. The faster you spun, the dizzier you'd get, and it was impossible not to laugh as you twirled around. It was the perfect toy for burning off that extra energy, especially on a rainy day when you couldn't get outside. Though it was simple in design, the joy of spinning uncontrollably made the Sit and Spin a favorite among 80s kids. The dizzying fun was always a good time. Scratch-off lottery tickets. Scratch-off lottery tickets were a staple of 80s culture, offering a quick thrill without breaking the bank. Even if you weren't the type to gamble, you could find these little tickets everywhere, at convenience stores, gas stations, and corner shops. The process was simple. You'd scratch off the silver coating to reveal whether you'd won, and for a few dollars, it was a small but exciting moment of possibility. Whether you won or not, the anticipation of scratching and the chance of hitting it big made them a fun, affordable form of entertainment for many. It was instant excitement in a little package. We would like to announce the answer to the mini-game question above is Walkman. The Walkman was an iconic 1980s item, revolutionizing personal music listening. It became a must-have for kids and teens during that decade, giving them the freedom to listen to music anywhere using cassette tapes. Congratulations to all the viewers who got the correct answer. The 20 best artists and bands of the 1980s. Ever wonder why the 80s sound keeps making a comeback? From hit TV shows to viral TikTok trends, the music of that decade is everywhere. It's a sound that defined a generation and continues to resonate with new audiences today. So, who were the musical masterminds behind this 80s explosion? Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, whose solo career in the 80s was just as legendary as his time with Black Sabbath. Ozzy didn't just transition from a band to a solo artist. He exploded onto the scene with a renewed energy and a unique style that solidified his place as a true icon of heavy metal. His 1980 solo debut, Blizzard of Ozz, was a revelation. It wasn't just a continuation of Black Sabbath, it was something fresh and exciting. Ozzy's songwriting took a new direction, and his outlandish stage persona captivated audiences worldwide. He wasn't just a singer, he was a performer, a showman who embraced the theatrical side of rock and roll. Ozzy's success wasn't just about his personality, it was about the incredible musicians he surrounded himself with. Guitarists like Randy Rhoads, Jake E. Lee, and Zakk Wylde brought their own unique talents to the table, creating a powerful and dynamic sound that defined Ozzy's solo career. Throughout the 80s, Ozzy released a string of classic albums, each one building on the success of the last. He became the most recognizable and successful solo act in heavy metal, a testament to his talent, his charisma, and his ability to connect with audiences on a visceral level. Tears for Fears. Kurt Smith and Roland Orzabal, the creative force behind the band, had an incredible talent for crafting catchy anthemic hits that resonated with audiences worldwide. When you think of iconic 80s songs, it's impossible not to think of Tears for Fears. Tracks like Shout and Everybody Wants to Rule the World became instant classics, capturing the spirit of the decade and securing their place in music history. These songs weren't just catchy tunes, they were powerful statements with thought-provoking lyrics that explored themes of social anxiety and political unrest. The band's 1985 album, Songs from the Big Chair, was a monumental success. It spawned multiple chart-topping singles and showcased the band's musical depth and emotional range. To this day, it's considered their defining masterpiece and a must-listen for any fan of 80s music. While the band's focus has shifted away from creating new music, both Kurt Smith and Roland Orzabal remain active under the Tears for Fears banner. They continue to tour and perform their classic hits, captivating audiences with their energetic stage presence and timeless music. Madonna. Madonna's music was a fusion of pop, dance, and electronic elements, creating a sound that was both infectious and innovative. But it wasn't just her music that made her a star. It was her image, her attitude, and her willingness to challenge societal norms. She embraced her sexuality, her femininity, and her power, inspiring a generation of women to do the same. The 80s were Madonna's launching pad to superstardom. Hits like a Virgin, Material Girl, and La Isla Bonita became anthems of the decade, dominating the airwaves and MTV. These songs weren't just catchy tunes, they were cultural statements that challenged traditional notions of female sexuality and identity. Madonna's music videos were equally groundbreaking. They were mini-movies that pushed the boundaries of visual storytelling, often incorporating provocative imagery and social commentary. She used her platform to address issues like religion, sexuality, and gender equality, sparking conversations and challenging societal norms. Madonna's influence on pop culture is immeasurable. She redefined the role of the female pop star, paving the way for countless artists who followed in her footsteps. She embraced her individuality, her sexuality, and her power, inspiring generations of women to be confident, independent, and unapologetically themselves. And the incredible thing is, Madonna's career hasn't slowed down. She has continued to evolve and reinvent herself throughout the decades, constantly pushing creative boundaries and remaining a relevant force in the music industry. She is a true icon, a testament to the power of creativity, ambition, and self-expression. Guns N' Roses. A band that epitomized the raw energy and rebellious spirit of 80s rock. They weren't just musicians, they were a force of nature that injected a shot of adrenaline into the music scene and helped shape the sound of arena rock for decades to come. Their 1987 debut album, Appetite for Destruction, was a game changer. It was a raw, powerful, and unapologetically loud record that captured the hearts and minds of a generation hungry for something real. It launched them into superstardom and solidified their place as one of rock's all-time greats. Think of iconic rock anthems, and Guns N' Roses will instantly come to mind. Songs like Sweet Child O' Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, and Paradise City became instant classics, blasting from radios and MTV, defining the sound of the late 80s. These tracks weren't just catchy, they were rebellious, energetic, and full of attitude. The band's lineup, Axl Rose's powerful vocals, Slash's iconic guitar riffs, Duff McKagan's driving bass lines, Izzy Stradlin's rhythm guitar, and Steven Adler's drumming. Their chemistry was undeniable, and their live shows were explosive, filled with raw energy and a sense of danger. Guns N' Roses' impact on rock music is undeniable. They brought a sense of danger and excitement back to the genre, inspiring countless bands and influencing the sound of hard rock for years to come. Even today, nearly 40 years later, their music continues to resonate with new generations of fans. Their songs are still played on radio stations worldwide, and their recent reunion tours have been met with massive enthusiasm. NWA. NWA's career may have been short-lived, but their impact was seismic. Their 1988 debut album, Straight Outta Compton, was a game-changer. It was a raw, unflinching portrayal of life in Compton, California, and it challenged the status quo in a way that no other hip-hop album had before. The group's lineup, Ice Cube, MC Ren, Eazy-E, DJ Yella, Dr. Dre, and Arabian Prince, was a force to be reckoned with. Their lyrics were powerful, their beats were innovative, and their attitude was undeniable. They brought a new level of intensity and authenticity to hip-hop, and their music resonated with a generation that felt marginalized and unheard. Songs like The Police, Straight Outta Compton, and Gangsta Gangsta became anthems for a generation. They were controversial, they were confrontational, but they were also undeniably powerful. They sparked conversations about race, poverty, and police brutality, and they forced the world to pay attention to the realities of life in marginalized communities. NWA's influence extended far beyond the 80s. Their sound and their attitude became a blueprint for countless hip-hop artists, and their impact can still be felt in the music industry today. Dr. Dre and Ice Cube went on to have incredibly successful solo careers, further solidifying their place as legends in the hip-hop world. Def Leppard. Emerging from the new wave of British heavy metal, Def Leppard quickly made a name for themselves with their unique blend of hard rock and heavy metal. But it was their savvy move towards a more commercial and pop-infused sound that catapulted them to superstardom. Albums like Pyromania in 1983 and Hysteria in 1987 became absolute monster hits. These records weren't just successful, they were defining moments in 80s rock. Def Leppard's knack for crafting infectious melodies and their undeniable stage presence turned them into one of the biggest rock acts of the decade. Think of iconic 80s anthems, and you'll instantly think of Def Leppard. Songs like Rock of Ages, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and Photograph became staples on MTV and radio stations worldwide. These tracks weren't just catchy tunes, they were cultural touchstones that defined a generation of rock fans. The band's lineup, Joe Elliott on vocals, Phil Collen and Vivian Campbell on guitars, Rick Savage on bass, and Rick Allen on drums, became legendary. Their story of resilience, particularly Allen's inspiring comeback after losing his arm in a car accident, only added to their appeal. Def Leppard's success hasn't faded with time. Their recent stadium tours have proven that their music remains as relevant and powerful as ever. New generations of fans are discovering their classic albums, and the band's energetic live shows continue to draw huge crowds. The Police. While they had tasted success in the late 70s, it was the 80s that saw the Police reach the pinnacle of their career. Albums like Zenyatta Mondatta, Ghost in the Machine, and Synchronicity became massive hits, showcasing their ability to blend elements of pop rock, reggae, and new wave into a cohesive and captivating sound. The Police's music was intelligent and sophisticated, but it was also incredibly accessible. Their songs were filled with catchy melodies, intricate harmonies, and a driving rhythm section that was second to none. Stuart Copeland's drumming was a force of nature. Andy Summers' guitar work was both inventive and melodic, and Sting's vocals and songwriting were the glue that held it all together. Think of iconic 80s songs, and you'll undoubtedly think of The Police. Tracks like Message in a Bottle, Every Breath You Take, and Don't Stand So Close to Me became instant classics, dominating the airwaves and cementing their place in music history. These songs showcased their ability to write both infectious pop hits and introspective, emotionally resonant ballads. The Police's impact on the music scene was profound. They inspired countless bands, helped popularize the blending of genres, and left behind a catalog of songs that continue to be celebrated and enjoyed today. Their music has stood the test of time, and their influence can be heard in the work of many contemporary artists. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, a true icon of American music, whose incredible voice and captivating stage presence made her a global superstar. Her rise to fame in the 80s was nothing short of meteoric, and her impact on the music industry continues to be felt today. Whitney's early albums, Whitney Houston and Whitney, showcased her incredible vocal talent and set the stage for her future success. These records were filled with catchy pop tunes and powerful ballads that highlighted her range and ability to connect with audiences on an emotional level. But it was her 1987 album, Whitney, that truly launched her into the stratosphere of pop stardom. The album featured the mega hit, I Wanna Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me, a song that became an instant classic and captured the spirit of the 80s like few others. It was a song that made you want to get up and dance, and it showcased Whitney's infectious energy and undeniable star power. Whitney's music wasn't just about catchy tunes, it was about her incredible voice. She had a range and power that few singers could match, and her ability to convey emotion through her singing was truly remarkable. Her ballads, like I Will Always Love You, became timeless classics that showcased her vocal prowess and her ability to connect with audiences on a deep emotional level. Even though Whitney tragically passed away in 2012, her legacy continues to shine brightly. Her music remains as popular as ever, and her influence can be heard in the work of countless singers today. Prince. Prince's career exploded in the 80s, a decade that saw him release a string of iconic albums that showcased his incredible talent and his boundless creativity. Albums like Dirty Mind, Purple Rain, and Around the World in a Day were not just commercially successful. They were critically acclaimed masterpieces that pushed the boundaries of pop music. Prince's music was a unique blend of funk, rock, pop, and R&B, infused with his signature sensuality and a touch of psychedelic flair. He was a master of melody, a guitar virtuoso, and a vocalist with a range that could soar from a soulful whisper to a powerful scream. His songs were infectious, his lyrics were provocative, and his stage presence was electrifying. Hits like Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry and Kiss became anthems of the decade, defining the sound of 80s pop and inspiring countless artists. Prince's influence on music is immeasurable. He broke down barriers between genres, challenged societal norms with his androgynous image and sexually charged lyrics, and inspired generations of artists to be bold, creative, and unapologetically themselves. His incredible work ethic was legendary. From 1978 to 2015, he released an astonishing 39 studio albums, constantly experimenting with new sounds and pushing his creative boundaries. He was a true innovator, a musical chameleon who could effortlessly shift between genres and styles. Even after his untimely passing in 2017, Prince's music continues to inspire and captivate audiences. His posthumous album, Welcome to America, released in 2021, further showcased his genius and his relevance in today's musical landscape. The Cure. At the heart of The Cure was the enigmatic frontman, Robert Smith, whose creative vision guided the band's unique sound and aesthetic. Early albums like Faith, Pornography, and The Top showcased The Cure's ability to blend the raw energy of post-punk with undeniably catchy pop melodies. This distinctive sound resonated with a generation of music fans who were looking for something different, something deeper than the mainstream. The release of Disintegration in 1989 marked a turning point for The Cure. This album propelled them from underground heroes to a mainstream phenomenon. The album's atmospheric soundscapes and emotionally charged lyrics resonated with a wider audience, cementing The Cure's status as a musical force to be reckoned with. But The Cure's success didn't stop there. Hits like Friday I'm in Love continued to climb the charts in the following decades, solidifying their place in popular culture. Their music transcended genres and generations, capturing the hearts of fans worldwide. Even today, The Cure remains a vital and influential band. They continue to tour extensively, playing to sold-out arenas and captivating audiences with their powerful live performances. Though they haven't released a new album since 2008's 413 Dream, their legacy continues to thrive. Slayer. Let's talk about Slayer, a band that truly embodies the raw power of 80s thrash metal. These guys weren't just musicians, they were pioneers who helped shape the sound of extreme metal as we know it. From the very beginning, Slayer was all about pushing boundaries. Their early albums, like Hell Awaits, Rain in Blood, and South of Heaven, were sonic explosions. Fast, aggressive, and unapologetically heavy, these records set a new standard for intensity in metal. The band's lineup, Tom Araya on bass and vocals, Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman on guitars, and Dave Lombardo on drums, became legendary. Their musicianship was ferocious, and their live shows were infamous for their sheer energy and aggression. Slayer's impact on the metal scene was immense. They inspired countless bands in the hardcore and metal genres, influencing everything from the way bands approached songwriting to the way they performed on stage. Even today, decades later, you can hear Slayer's influence in a wide range of heavy music. They weren't just a band, they were a force of nature. Slayer helped define a generation of metal, and their legacy continues to inspire and energize metalheads around the world. They cemented their place as one of metal's most cherished and influential bands, and their music remains as powerful and relevant today as it was back in the 80s. U2. In the 80s, U2 wasn't just a band. They were a force of nature that reshaped the musical landscape. Their early albums, War, The Unforgettable Fire, and The Joshua Tree, were game changers. They blended the raw energy of post-punk with a newfound sense of pop sensibility, creating a sound that was both powerful and accessible. This unique approach to rock music helped them achieve massive mainstream success and influenced countless other bands. U2's music wasn't just about catchy tunes, it was about making a statement. Songs like Sunday Bloody Sunday, Pride, In the Name of Love, and With or Without You tackled social and political issues with passion and conviction. They became anthems for a generation searching for meaning and change. The band's lineup, Bono's soaring vocals, The Edge's innovative guitar work, Adam Clayton's solid bass lines, and Larry Mullen Jr.'s powerful drumming, became iconic. Their live performances were legendary, filled with energy, emotion, and a sense of connection with their audience. Their success continued well beyond the 80s, but their foundation was built on the groundbreaking music they created during that decade. U2 became one of the most successful rock acts in history, and their influence can still be felt today. They showed the world that rock music could be both popular and profound, and their legacy continues to inspire and resonate with music lovers everywhere. Who's your absolute favorite 80s artist from this list? What's that one song that instantly transports you back to the decade? Feel free to share in the comments. Van Halen. The core of Van Halen, brothers Alex and Eddie Van Halen, along with frontman David Lee Roth and bassist Michael Anthony, formed in the early 70s, but it was the 80s that saw them truly explode onto the global music scene. Their debut album in 1978 was a game changer, but it was the string of albums that followed that solidified their place in rock history. Van Halen's music was a fusion of hard rock, heavy metal, and a touch of pop sensibility. Eddie Van Halen's innovative guitar playing was a revelation. His lightning-fast solos and tapping techniques became legendary. David Lee Roth's charismatic vocals and energetic stage presence added another dimension to the band's appeal. Think of iconic 80s rock anthems, and you'll instantly think of Van Halen. Songs like Panama, Jump, Hot for Teacher, and Unchained became staples of rock radio and MTV. These were songs that made you want to crank up the volume, jump around, and let loose. Van Halen's live shows were legendary. They were a spectacle of sound and energy, with Eddie's guitar pyrotechnics and Roth's acrobatic stage antics captivating audiences worldwide. They were a band that truly knew how to put on a show. While the 80s were their peak, Van Halen's success continued into the 90s and beyond. They went through lineup changes, but the core of their sound remained. Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing continued to inspire generations of musicians, and their music continued to resonate with fans around the world. The tragic passing of Eddie Van Halen in 2020 marked the end of an era. Van Halen officially retired, leaving behind a legacy of incredible music and unforgettable live performances. Steve Harris's galloping bass lines, Adrian Smith and Dave Murray's intricate guitar harmonies, Nicko McBrain's thunderous drumming, and Bruce Dickinson's operatic vocals created a sonic tapestry that was both intricate and powerful. But Iron Maiden was more than just music. They were a visual spectacle. Their iconic mascot, Eddie, became a symbol of the band's rebellious spirit and their embrace of the theatrical side of heavy metal. Their stage shows were legendary, filled with pyrotechnics, elaborate set designs, and Dickinson's captivating stage presence. Iron Maiden's impact on the metal scene was immense. They inspired countless bands, helped define the sound of multiple metal subgenres, and built a loyal fan base that spans generations and continents. Their music continues to resonate with fans around the world, and their influence can be heard in the work of many contemporary metal bands. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, a true icon whose music, dance moves, and sheer stage presence transcended boundaries and captivated the world. His journey from child prodigy in the Jackson 5 to global superstar is a testament to his incredible talent, his unwavering dedication to his craft, and his ability to connect with audiences on a profound emotional level. Michael Jackson's solo career in the 80s was nothing short of a phenomenon. Albums like Thriller and Bad shattered records, becoming the best-selling albums of all time and defining the sound of pop music for a generation. These albums weren't just collections of songs. They were cultural events that transcended musical genres and captivated audiences of all ages and backgrounds. Michael's music was a fusion of pop, R&B, funk, and rock, infused with his signature energy and his innovative approach to songwriting and production. His voice was instantly recognizable, his dance moves were mesmerizing, and his music videos were groundbreaking works of art that pushed the boundaries of visual storytelling. Think of iconic 80s songs, and you'll undoubtedly think of Michael Jackson. Hits like Billie Jean, Beat It, Thriller, and Man in the Mirror became anthems of the decade, dominating the airwaves and MTV. These songs weren't just catchy tunes. They were cultural touchstones that transcended musical genres and became part of the global lexicon. Michael Jackson's influence on music and popular culture is immeasurable. He revolutionized the music video as an art form, broke down racial barriers in the music industry, and inspired generations of artists with his innovative approach to music and performance. His music continues to be celebrated and enjoyed by fans around the world, and his legacy as one of the greatest entertainers of all time is secure. Even though Michael tragically passed away in 2009, his music continues to live on. His songs are timeless, his dance moves are still imitated, and his influence can be felt in the work of countless artists today. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Tom Petty, a true songwriting legend, left an indelible mark on the music scene, both through his solo work and his incredible journey with the Heartbreakers. While their roots stretched back to the mid-70s, the 80s were a pivotal decade for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They achieved critical and commercial success with albums like Southern Accents, which showcased their ability to blend classic rock and roll with a touch of Southern charm. This album featured hits like Don't Come Around Here No More and Rebels, which became staples of rock radio. Tom Petty's solo debut, Full Moon Fever, further solidified his status as a songwriting powerhouse. This album, released in 1989, featured some of his most iconic songs, including Free Fallin', I Won't Back Down, and Runnin' Down a Dream. These tracks became anthems for a generation and showcased Petty's ability to craft timeless, relatable songs that captured the spirit of American rock and roll. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were more than just a studio band. They were a phenomenal live act. Their concerts were legendary, filled with energy, passion, and a deep connection with their audience. They toured extensively throughout the 80s and beyond, building a loyal fan base that appreciated their authenticity and their dedication to their craft. Did I miss any iconic 80s bands or artists that deserve a spot on this list? Let me know in the comments. Metallica. Metallica's rise to fame in the 80s was nothing short of meteoric. Their albums Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All became instant classics, defining the sound of thrash metal and influencing countless bands. These albums weren't just collections of songs. They were sonic journeys, filled with complex arrangements, blistering guitar solos, and James Hetfield's signature growl. Metallica's music wasn't just about aggression, it was about exploring complex themes of anger, alienation, and social injustice. They tapped into the frustrations of a generation, giving voice to those who felt marginalized and misunderstood. Their music became a soundtrack for rebellion, a cathartic release for those who felt the weight of the world on their shoulders. The band's lineup, James Hetfield on vocals and rhythm guitar, Lars Ulrich on drums, Kirk Hammett on lead guitar, and Cliff Burton, who tragically passed away in 1986, on bass, was a force to be reckoned with. Their chemistry was undeniable, their musicianship was impeccable, and their live shows were legendary. But Metallica's story didn't end in the 80s. They continued to evolve and experiment, pushing the boundaries of metal and expanding their fan base with each new album. They became a global phenomenon, selling millions of records and headlining stadiums around the world. Bruce Springsteen. While he had already made a name for himself in the 70s, the 80s were a defining decade for Springsteen. He released a string of albums that became classics of the American songbook, cementing his status as one of the most important and influential artists of his generation. Albums like The River, Nebraska, and Born in the USA showcased Springsteen's incredible range as a songwriter. He could write anthemic rockers that filled stadiums, introspective ballads that touched the heart, and poignant stories that captured the struggles of working-class America. His music wasn't just about catchy melodies. It was about the human experience. Songs like Born in the USA, Dancing in the Dark, and I'm on Fire became anthems for a generation, capturing the hopes, dreams, and frustrations of everyday Americans. Springsteen's live performances were legendary. He and the E Street Band were a force of nature, delivering high-energy shows that lasted for hours and left audiences exhausted but exhilarated. His concerts were more than just music. They were a communal experience, a celebration of life, and a testament to the power of rock and roll. And the amazing thing is, he's still going strong. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band continue to tour and make music, proving that his music is timeless and his connection with his audience is as strong as ever. His latest album, Only the Strong Survive, released in 2022, shows that he's still got the magic touch, still able to create music that moves and inspires. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Tina Turner. Tina's music was a unique blend of genres. She seamlessly fused R&B, rock, and soul, creating a sound that was both powerful and soulful, gritty and glamorous. Her voice was her instrument, a powerful force that could convey a range of emotions, from vulnerability to fierce determination. The 80s saw Tina's career reach new heights. Hits like What's Love Got to Do with It, The Best, and We Don't Need Another Hero became anthems of the decade, showcasing her incredible vocal range and her ability to connect with audiences on a deep emotional level. Her music wasn't just about singing, it was about storytelling, about expressing the joys and struggles of life with raw honesty. Tina's stage presence was legendary. She was a dynamic performer who commanded attention with her every move. Her energy was infectious, her dance moves were electrifying, and her voice filled every corner of the arena. She was a true entertainer who knew how to captivate an audience and leave them wanting more. Tina's influence extended far beyond the music industry. She was an inspiration to women around the world, a symbol of strength, resilience, and self-empowerment. She broke down barriers and defied expectations, proving that age is just a number and that passion and talent can conquer any obstacle. Even though Tina sadly passed away in 2023, her legacy continues to shine brightly. Her music remains as powerful and relevant as ever, and her influence can be felt in the work of countless artists today. She was a true pioneer, a trailblazer who paved the way for generations of female artists. Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode's lineup, Dave Gahan, Andy Fletcher, Alan Wilder, Martin Gore, in the early years, were masters of their craft. They embraced synthesizers and electronic instruments, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in pop music. Their sound was both futuristic and deeply emotional, capturing the anxieties and aspirations of a generation coming of age in a rapidly changing world. The 80s were a defining decade for Depeche Mode. They released a string of albums that became instant classics, showcasing their ability to craft catchy melodies, thought-provoking lyrics, and innovative soundscapes. They weren't just making music, they were creating an atmosphere, a mood, a feeling that resonated with millions of fans around the world. Think of iconic 80s synth pop anthems, and Depeche Mode will instantly come to mind. Songs like Just Can't Get Enough, Personal Jesus, and Never Let Me Down Again became staples of the decade, defining the sound of new wave and influencing countless artists. These tracks were more than just catchy tunes. They were sonic explorations that pushed the boundaries of pop music. Even though Andy Fletcher sadly passed away in 2022, Dave Gahan and Martin Gore continue to carry the Depeche Mode torch, creating new music and touring the world. Their recent album, Memento Mori, released in 2023, proves that their creative fire is still burning bright, and their music continues to resonate with fans both old and new. Iron Maiden. They were pioneers, innovators, and masters of their craft, creating a sound and an image that became synonymous with the very essence of heavy metal. The 80s were a defining decade for Iron Maiden. They unleashed a string of classic albums that became cornerstones of the genre. The Number of the Beast, Power Slave, and Somewhere in Time weren't just records. They were sonic adventures that transported listeners to a world of epic battles, mythical creatures, and soaring melodies. Iron Maiden's unique sound was built on a foundation of powerful guitar work, soaring vocals, and a driving rhythm section. Did I miss any of your favorite 80s memories? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to check out other videos in this series. Don't forget to subscribe and share Who Remembers with your friends who grew up in the 80s. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.